It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies. Hello.
Excellent. Hi.
How are you doing, Obiajulu?
I'm doing great.
The eyes this morning.
Oh, smoky.
Yeah. What's up? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So yesterday, I took my daughter to see the optician. And she's been complaining that she doesn't see very well from the classroom, because she usually sits at the back. And then she doesn't see the board. I just ignored it. I felt, because she's very active, I felt she wasn't paying attention. So I'll tell her, pay attention, you see the board. Just 2 weeks back, we're watching the TV together, and I noticed my daughter was squinting. She was doing like this. I didn't say a word to her. I was just observing, and she was doing like, I said, "Kosi, what are you doing?" Say, "I'm trying to see the TV." That was when I knew.
You had to.
Yes, I had
But
to.
did she enjoy the studio yesterday?
Yeah, she did. She said she felt it was going to be boring seeing it live. But then when we started talking, he said, "You people have energy."
Imagine that little girl.
So she's picked out her glasses.
Oh, that's
She's
nice.
wearing glasses soon.
How you doing, Mariam?
Fine. Today is my auntie's birthday, Mrs. Dorcas Temlong. She's my mom's youngest sister. I mean, yes, she's her youngest
She the one who was
sister.
in your house with the low cut.
No.
No, that old.
No,
Okay.
that's my younger sister.
No, not that one. There was an elderly woman who was helping out with the flowers.
Oh, that's my sister-in-law. The one, not Nibbles, the one that you like her granola
Oh, right.
and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
But she doesn't
That's
have
what I'm talking about, but don't worry.
Okay, yes. So yeah, today's her birthday. Happy birthday, auntie. And she's the one that first saw the Your View, whatever, and said, "You must try out for this thing." So every time she watches, she's like the biggest
proud.
fan.
Happy birthday,
Happy
ma.
birthday.
Yes.
How you doing, Emma?
I'm very well, preparing for my talk tomorrow. I'm motivating young lawyers, would-be lawyers, on why they should study law. It's an event organized, a camp organized by AEC Legal, a firm on the island. So we'll be there talking. I hope that my preparation works. Because I don't know, I just need to convince them studying law is the best thing.
Are you convinced that studying law is the best thing? You yourself?
Yeah. Having a first degree in law, you can do anything. I think it's the basis for everything you want to do. I agree.
Interesting. I'm glad you feel that way. Anyways.
Mariah, a few
I'm
weeks
fine.
ago, you were saying you were going to go and study law. So
No. I'm saying I'm going back to school. I'm starting
Yeah,
school in
I
October. That's already done deal. But yesterday I was in Abeokuta and to interview Baba. And I posted that he was stubborn online. And people have gone crazy. The fact that I said Baba was stubborn. The man just did not. I wanted him to do something. He refused to do it and he was stubborn about it. And that's it.
Conformist.
Yes, it's not a conformist symbol. But Nigerians have used Yoruba to define stubborn.
Maybe you should
I started saying that.
more, bigger.
No, they needed use. I use colloquial language, street language. That kind of. Yeah, that's it was a problem. Anyways, hopefully they get it. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the newspapers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Right, let's start with the Punch. Governors take panicking measures as flood ravage states. 18 injured as BRT bus collide in Lagos. Mambila project, Nigeria risks another $2.3 billion fine. South Africans attack Nigerians, loot shops, Onyema Dabri react. Detention, 123 Jigawa men sue Lagos State government for ₦1 billion. Sheun Egbegbe spends 30 months in jail. Maina's name disappears from watch list. $2.1 billion case dropped.
Powerful people.
Supreme Court faults government lawyers appeal for Buhari. And police partner OPC orders on Southwest Security Operations. Okay, the BRT bus, what was that story?
Okay, so this BRT bus, while driving on the BRT lane in Ikorodu, was suddenly distracted by two bike men on the lane. And he had to quickly either swerve out of the lane or hit them. So he swerved and hit another bus coming on the side of the express, and 18 people were injured, serious injuries. An eyewitness was the person who gave this account, and the government, Lagos State government, of course, is comparing that with the accident that happened the week before with the Dangote truck and looking for measures to curb this.
And Maynard, for those of you that don't remember, Maynard was the chairman of the Pensions Reform tax team, and remember he was being charged of $2.1 billion.
Money, and he was put on the Interpol watch list.
And then remember that in Dubai, the Attorney General went to visit him, and the Minister of Justice went to go and visit him, telling him that he'd get a soft landing when he comes to Nigeria.
He comes
now, as of today, he came in and he was even promoted, I think.
Yes, he was, and he resumed. He was made to resume.
In a nutshell,
the case is dropped.
The case is dropped, and he's no more
Powerful
Nigeria.
I just wanted to take the story of the 123 gigamen. We remember we took that story yesterday of a lot of northerners coming into Lagos. So they have filed, yes, they've been let go, but they filed a report in court against the Lagos State, the police. They said the way they were treated, first of all, you profiled them without proper investigation. You put them out on media. So they're asking for 1 billion naira reparation, meaning that...
Isn't there anything they call probable cause? Like, I have a reason, if I have a reason.
That's the only fear that I have, because the police is allowed to arrest anybody in circumstances they consider suspicious. So they too, who they were coming, loading themselves inside truck.
In the night.
When they are not animals.
See, we cannot say,
hold on a minute.
That night thing.
With the insecurity prevalent in the country, it's sad if they lose. Because I think they have a right. Everybody that has a right can go to court.
Okay, Morai, you said at night. The reason why I wanted to say is that it takes a long time to come from the north to Lagos. So you probably go to Lagos at night.
It's also not a good means of travel to be in a truck with your bike.
Okay, you also mentioned that yesterday. So they put the bikes on the truck. So they're also asking for the release of those bikes as well as the truck that was...
the flood.
Okay, quickly.
Yeah, so the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, I think on the 7th of August, issued a warning and gave some red alerts to several states that they should prepare for the flood. Unfortunately, those states did not prepare for the flood.
Including Lagos State.
Yes, and now they are bearing the brunt of the aftermath of the flood. So they are saying that they have not taken the recommendations.
In addition, my sister, so some states, that's the Vanguard, Tribune have responded to how they will curb it. Or you're saying that they are now marking houses to pull down that they feel were built on waterways and all those other ones conflicting. Jigawa is saying they will relocate communities to another place till the flood passes. But Lagos State has mandated the 33 local government areas that they have with the LCDs to conduct biometric data of residents in flood-prone areas. That's how Lagos State responds. They are not dredging their canals. So
we spent too much time on the point. Let's move on to the nation. $9.6 billion judgment. Federal government draws battle line with PNID. That's the latest complaint. Everybody knows PNID. Crude for fuel deal until 2023, says NNPC. Special forces to combat insecurity in the southwest. 840 million fraud in retired judge's account. Diezani paid $865,000 cash for jury. And inside the risky life of Bobrisky. Which one are we taking?
The headline, major headline.
Okay,
so the...
I think the major headlines everywhere. Let's take a story that is not anywhere else. I think...
840 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, that's the ICPC, filed an application before the Federal High Court in Abuja for the interim forfeiture of 840 million in the former Chief Judge's account. This woman is Mrs. Margaret Igbeta, customary court in Benue State. Right. According to the story, they said she opened an account with the house help's name and put in 870 million. But by the time they filed this case, the money has gone down to 840 million. So they are saying that the forfeiture should be in the interim till they...
Okay,
not
designing. One other story that's not anywhere. The crude for fuel.
Okay.
So the GM of NNPC is saying that we'd have this deal where we swap our crude for oil, and we've been doing that for over 6 years, and he's saying that it's going to continue to 2023. We've been doing that because we're unable to meet the demand for oil, and they're waiting on until our refineries start working at full capacity, and also Dangote refinery starts work. Daily
Sun, federal government talks tough over mob attacks in South Africa. 6 feared dead as truck kill 3. And vehicles collide in Anambra. $9.6 billion. Federal government reopens talks with PNID. Supreme Court strikes out perjury suit against Buhari. Osun Tribunal sacks PDP federal and state lawmakers. Okay, let's talk about the PNID now.
Okay, so there was a meeting chaired by our Vice President yesterday. There were so many ministers there. They said it was over a 2-hour meeting. They were there also with an American lawyer, they said, and it was to talk about this deal. They're saying that they are fighting this debt vigorously, and that PNID has no legal window for the enforcement of the judgment, because they mentioned an act, an Immunity Act of 1978 of the United Kingdom, whereby because Nigeria is a sovereign country, you're not going to be able to just take their assets and their resources and just give it to another company. So
Right,
fighting that.
The accident in Anambra, who has that story?
Yes, I have the story. So this truck rammed into about 3 vehicles. I think the driver of the truck lost control and he just rammed into them. About 23 persons were involved in the accident and they lost 5 people. I wonder why they are always failing their brakes. Is it that they don't have brakes?
Moving on to Vanguard. Federal government weighs options as another $2.3 billion fine looms. UN expresses concern over high rates of extrajudicial killings in Nigeria. German police following clues in Ikweremadu's attack. Unlawful detention, 123 Jigawa residents, men are suing Lagos State government for ₦1 billion. Federal government vows definitive measures as South African mob sets Nigerian shops on fire and kills 3. IGP Southwest governors approve deployment of special forces. Okay, this $2.3 billion fine in France, what is this about again?
The firm who originally got the award for a contract for the Mambila hydroelectric power project on the basis of build, operate, and transfer are saying that the contract exists in their favor, even though our government has gone to award it to a new Chinese firm.
3
other Chinese firms, and they are calling on the former Minister for Power as being complicit, the
Abba Kyari.
Chief of Staff to the President, Abba Kyari, and Nigerian government already, they've gone into arbitration and they're asking for 2.3 billion naira fine.
Sorry, Nima, I have to ask you this question. I know it's not for you to answer, but with all the English we speak in this country, I say we don't have lawyers that can actually properly defend our interests internationally.
Why do we need to get to the point where we're bringing lawyers to be defending?
There are even 3 things there. Our attitude to this regard contractual agreements is alarming. Then again, contracts are supposed to be drafts, and there will be clauses that allow a person to pull out if they think it's not working. The way I look at this and the way I look at the PNID deal is like these European companies just come here to strike deals and expect us to create everything for them to just come and work and earn money. The Chinese come here.
Bisola here, legal. All the international contracts, she will scrutinize it line by line, highlight and highlight. They'll go back and forth for weeks before we finally sign. So if someone like as small as Bisola in TVC is doing that, a whole country, I don't understand how we get ourselves in this
coming on the PID. If these companies in Europe think it used to be the old order where Nigeria would just provide everything and then they will come and say for bringing their technical knowledge. Now, PNID also claimed to have spent $40 million investment to that we cannot see anywhere.
Yes, it could have been
now, this one they are saying that they have the legal right, contractual rights to Mambila project. All of us are begging for the project anyway.
And they are saying that they have spent monies as well. So it could have
let us see it. Didn't you see the documentary our boss went to do at Mambila?
Anyways.
Otoju went to Mambila, nothing to show. Let's move
on to Nigerian Tribune. Why government shouldn't negotiate with PNID. So everybody's now coming up with all sorts of versions on how we can tackle this matter. You know what? I'm leaving that. How states plan to prevent flood as heavy rains begin. South Africans again attack, loot, burn Nigerian others' businesses. Traffic builds up as partial closure of Lagos-Ibadan highways begins. $40 million jury beyond Biazani's lawful income. That's the $40 billion that PNID said they used to invest in.
She should just move it from her.
Ibadan Oba's end rips with Olubadan accompanying him to outing without crowns. Okay, let's talk about which story we're taking here. South Africa is our hot topic, so we'll talk about that a bit later. Any other story that catches attention here? Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. I traveled on that road yesterday. I left Lagos at 12 p.m. It was very smooth. I got to Ibadan in exactly an hour and a half. Coming back again, I left Ibadan. I left Abeokuta at 7:15. I got here at 8:45 p.m. It was very smooth.
Okay.
So me, I don't know if people are having traffic.
Okay, so I hope it's like that.
This morning
I have to go to Abeokuta because I have to go this
very,
before the
very
end of the
smooth
year.
for me.
But you can see the traffic, and one of our staff, Blessing, said we should mention that, you know, she's caught up in that traffic, the serious jam.
That's on the
So maybe you should
diversion.
go
On the
the
diversion.
time I used.
Yes.
12 p.m.
No,
going,
the-
coming
But if
back.
you have to go to work.
The organizers have to send
Right,
the right
right.
back.
Okay.
I'm not going.
Let's pick up The Guardian, how Nigeria loses over 1 trillion naira to defective building code. That seems hot. Oshimajo meets economic team over the $9.6 billion judgment. An outrage as attack on Nigerians in South Africa persists. Who has a major headline? This is 1 trillion to defective
Yes.
building code. What's
So
that about?
Well, engineers organization body has called on the federal government, given all the costs of, you know, not having a proper building code, construction code within the country. What we have was the old one.
Welcome back to Your View.
Welcome back. Nigeria obviously understands that there's an ongoing xenophobic attack launched by South Africans against our people and other foreigners. According to the report, properties, including cars belonging to Nigerians, are being set on fire. Nigeria's Foreign Affairs Minister Jeffrey Onyema has reacted, saying enough is enough. He says we'll take a definitive measure. Now the question is, what exactly is the government going to do to safeguard the lives of Nigerians abroad? And I'd like to hear your general thoughts before we open our phone lines to our viewers here. What are your general thoughts on this issue of the xenophobic attack against our people in South Africa?
So I've been asking myself why it seems like the security officials in the land are not doing anything about this. And I kept asking, because then we've had CEO of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission speak to their commissioners severally. We had a meeting in July, you know, and they promised that they were going to look into all of these cases. But then more things are happening, more killings are happening, more lootings are happening, and nothing is being done on their end. So I've been asking myself till I saw this video, and that is my answer. They are tired of us. They do not want Nigerians to dominate in their place. And I will not blame them, because the truth is, they are a sovereign nation as well. Yeah. You have a right to say, we don't want these people. They are taking our jobs, they are taking our women, they are taking our land. We don't want these people. You have that right. But you don't have to kill in order to achieve that. So what I expect is for them to come to like a round table. We are no longer going to allow you people into our nation. Those ones who are there illegally, we are shipping you out. Those ones who are schooling, once you are done, you go back to your country. There are several ways we can actually talk about this.
Not violence, yes.
Yeah. Well, they have mentioned some things that they think we do. And also, to be fair, they are not talking of only Nigerians. They are talking about other African nations. I think they were talking about Zimbabweans as well. You know, so African nationals coming to their country and, you know, succeeding. As Obiajelu said, there are different ways to handle it if you do not want people in your country. But then you need to also understand that this will be reciprocated. You have, South Africa has businesses. I mean, well, so people are watching us here from DSTV, on DSTV. Your MTN, I mean, MTN is one of the most, has one of like the most, no, see, it's very annoying. Because, okay, I understand that maybe when this person is, the person that's just spoke, maybe he does not have enough exposure. Because I don't know. Yes, because I do not see how he will stand and represent his country and speak the way that he's speaking. No. With the amount of businesses that they have, the number of people in different parts of Nigeria that they have here, you come and say you do not want people in your country, they have no right to dominate, and yet you're dominating economically in other people's countries. Right. The fight for your country that you're talking about, people, Nigerian soldiers were led there, I mean, diplomatically went there to fight on your behalf. How do you talk like this? How do you be the one that is represented? I can understand the man on the street, but I don't understand the one representing the government talking that way.
So, thank you, Miriam, for bringing the points out there. South Africa got their independence in the 90s. Some people fought for that. Some people housed the Mandelas, the Thabo Mbekis, all of them here, they schooled here. Yeah. Some people made it accommodating enough for them to stay. It is this same Nigeria, who was the giant of Africa, who had a foreign policy then to make sure that African countries had independence and they grew to the strength that they have today.
Yeah.
They fought their colonial white supremacy or whatever they call them, but we assisted to make sure that they did. Now, Mr. Minister for Deputy Minister, what was it called? Police Minister was talking about how it's a risk that Nigeria might become president, or that Nigerians are investing and taking 80%, foreigners are becoming 80% of taking 80% of a particular city in South Africa. Yeah. Sir, there are ways to curb it. Nigerians are dominating Dubai. There's no problem there because Dubai sees it as an investment. What you call economic sabotage is what they call investment in Dubai. What you do when people bring their businesses to your country is tax it. You make money off it. You make foreign investment. If you suffer loss for foreign investment, if you think that they are investing too much, and then empower your people to invest as well and grow them. If they don't have the ingenuity to grow businesses, it is not our fault.
Okay, point taken. I didn't want us to continue to sing the praises of the past, which is important. We cannot sweep away the past. We cannot sweep away the past. But you see, what I would like Nigerians to focus on, not so much on the past, is today. Our governments haven't really done much. Yes. They said they will do.
We don't hear anything.
Now, if we look at it vis-a-vis what they're doing, they probably have been protesting for years that these foreigners are coming too much. But now they've taken laws into their own hands, beating up our people, killing them, burning their shops. Nigerians, we're still here depending on our government. What are we going to do for ourselves? I'm not asking us to take laws into our own hands, but what can the people, the Nigerians, because we are so complacent, we just it's over there. We don't do anything. So what can we do definitively to be sure that we are fighting for our own people who are in South Africa? We will say with our mouth, and the cable stations, the phones, the phone lines. We are saying with mouth,
we're just this close to saying we should reciprocate.
We can't reciprocate.
So we're just this close. So it's because we don't want to be seen on national TV calling for a reciprocation is why we will just say, I would particularly say to the South African government, they should be careful and ashamed and embarrassed at the vices that they've encouraged their people to do. Because I saw pictures of children looting shops. You are encouraging stealing. You're encouraging daylight robbery. You're encouraging daylight murder, disrespect for human lives by being indifferent to this sort of attitude in your country.
Let me take this call from Da Silva. Are you there? Good morning. Are you there, Da Silva?
Yeah, I'm here.
Please, go ahead. You're live.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, my name is Tashida Gadzama. I served as a councillor here in the United Kingdom, precisely in London. And London is about 40% foreigners.
Thank you.
And South Africans are all over. They're even allowed to contest, and the British people didn't say no to them. And I honestly don't understand how our government will keep quiet. Does it mean that we cannot respond, or what? For me, this is unacceptable. Even though I know that there is differences between us and our citizens, which is not important at the moment. And for me, Nigeria must take a step to say no. If not, we'll mobilize ourselves. Let me say it again on the national TV. We'll mobilize ourselves and start destroying MTN and cash, or what do you call it?
Thank you very much, Dasida, for your thoughts on this.
If someone says they don't want you, it's only wisdom for you to go back and re-strategize on how to handle the issue. You cannot impose yourself when somebody's obviously saying, I don't want to have anything to do with you. This is more like a clear-cut war. That is in Europe. That's in Europe, but then their systems don't allow this kind of violence. These people are out in the streets killing Nigerians on a daily, and nothing is happening. We can only sit here and talk about what we think can be done, but our government should step in. If we need our people out of there, they should be out of there.
So, Obiajulu, it will not be right to say that their government is saying they don't want us. The man on the street is saying they don't want us, right? Okay. So it's not like the government has come, because their government, their representative here, their the commissions, the High Commissioner here has met with our president here, and they have, explained that, you know, they are going to look into it. So the government itself is not saying we do not want Nigerians in South Africa.
Body language, yes.
Diplomatic.
Body language.
Yes, so they have to. So government officially, they are not saying we do not want Nigerians
They
there.
may never
The
say
man
it.
on the street is saying we do not want Nigerians there because of this and this and this that they have done. So we cannot say to Nigerians, if the man tells you they don't want you there. So what we expect of their country, if you want our Nigerians there, what I expect of South Africa is that you take definitive measures to make sure that Nigerians are protected in your country because you are protected in our country.
Okay, let me take this call from Okpara. Are you there? Thanks for calling. Good morning. Thanks for calling. You're
Hello?
live. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Morayo.
Morning. You're live, Mr. Okpara. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, Morayo.
Morning.
Good morning to the panelists here.
Good morning.
All right, please, if the father did not call the son, if the father did not value you, nobody can value you. If the parents cannot value you, nobody can value you.
That's all.
See, what we are seeing here is a replicate of what is happening in our nation. From here, they have watched what is happening in our nation. So when our leaders, our fathers, they did not value us, nobody will value you. You can't touch.
Is that a fair statement? Because Nigerians who are doing well abroad are doing well. They're not being brutalized because they're Nigerians or foreign, but because their own country, their motherland is not treating them properly. So is that the right way to say that?
You know, you never
just
just treat an American citizen anywhere in the world anyhow.
A Nigerian who is law-abiding in America will not be treated this way either.
No, let's leave law-abiding. You cannot treat an American citizen anywhere.
You understand that? Law-abiding is saying that we Nigerians don't appreciate our own people.
Exactly.
That's why they're treating us that way.
You know,
Americans don't treat us that way.
I want to even answer that because a lot of people always feel that the reason why Nigerians or people leave their countries is because their own home country is not doing well. I mean, people are leaving America to go to other countries. Their country is working. People are leaving Europe to go to other countries to do business and thrive.
Not as much as Nigerians.
Wait, listen, I'm saying that the reason why people leave their home countries is not always because their countries are not working.
In this case, it's not working.
Listen,
It's not working.
Yes.
We're escaping.
So it's not always about that. So don't keep putting this thing on Nigerians that because your country is not working, then does that mean that all the people coming from Europe who are doing well in other countries, is it because things are not working for them in their country?
You never see Libyans anywhere else.
Let's go to break. When we come back, I'll start with you. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So a reminder, it's not just Nigerians and South Africans seem to be up against all South Africans, like I think it's pretty much Africans, foreigners, they say. So it's not specifically targeted at us, so we're clear on that.
But we're in the majority, and our investments are also in the majority. So I wanted to quickly say to Adegbaju that, yes, an American citizen cannot be treated anyhow, anyway, but a Nigerian is not treated like this in America. We're not we're discussing the attitude of South Africans to us. Now, the person whose video we saw is the Minister for Police, the Deputy Police Minister. Yeah. This is someone who should see killing of any other human being as a crime, whose duty it is to enforce it as such so that it will deter, follow-up crimes like that and, grow that criminal inclination. But here is what he thinks. So we'll know that there's no will to fight this within the South African government, because if the person who has that authority to curb it is talking like this, no Nigerian will get justice, no foreigner in their country will get justice. But South Africa cannot claim that they are just experiencing foreigners. Yes, in their history, Indians, Pakistans moved with trade across the ocean to their country, and they've stayed there over time that they become South Africans themselves. They should check their history. The white people who came there, they called the Rainbow Nation for a reason. Why suddenly their inability their inability to invest, grow, and flaunt wealth, because if that is what is annoying to them, is now, scary enough for them to start to attack people publicly and kill them. I think the government should take a stand.
And rant for the next 2 days. Yeah. My question goes back to,
what do we do?
What are Nigerians going to do about this? Because we can just talk about this in the beer parlors.
We can do little but talking.
Yeah.
because it is a sovereign nation and they have their laws there.
They have their rights too.
We can only ask our people that we can only ask our people forfeit your investment. You have no rights. You have no redress. You have no release. You have no resort, nothing to resort to, and just come home and lose everything. And then we allow them grow here. Our government, if we no, because we are national, they know what to do. They know what to do.
South Africa is just using us. We're just like as scapegoats. See, I feel that when a country is going through economic hardships, they look for who the scapegoats should be.
Have a call
Who
in
to
South
blame.
Africa. Let me pause for a second. Good morning. Are you there?
I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, from Cape Town. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm calling from Cape Town. I'm a civil engineer here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
What we're experiencing here in South Africa is hilarious. I'm quite sure I know exactly what's going on because what we've been experiencing is something very, very demeaning. It's dehumaning. And what we want is justice. That's all we want. We just want justice.
How do the police treat you over there, Mr. Momo? How are you treated by the police?
They've been working with this for quite a long time now. And from what we know, it's happening in Joburg, where we live in Cape Town, and we know very soon it's going to happen in Cape Town as well. So, we know our brothers in Joburg have that.
Okay.
Sorry?
No, I was just wondering what other questions I was asking.
Yeah, I was just saying that this is...
Thank you, Mr. Momo, for your contribution.
When a country is going through economic hardship, the first person that they look for, the foreigners. I mean, I think Nigeria did this in the 70s with Ghana, and the Jews were treated... Wait, listen now. I mean, you send people packing. And the thing is, you hope that when you send people packing, things will change for your country. But that's not the case. It would change for the home country. That's not the case, because what will happen is you're not dealing with the issues that you have, the deep-rooted issues that you have. South Africa, in the news, you hear a lot about corruption. Things are not as good as they used to be. And all of a sudden, they look around, and who do they see? These Nigerians that are so ambitious and doing so well. They are the ones that have stolen everything. What will happen is that when you send these Nigerians away, they'll take their ambitiousness, they'll take their tenacity, they'll take their resourcefulness somewhere else, and you'll be left with what you really have. So if I were you, as Nima's advice, find a way to tax it, find a way to learn from it, find a way to grow from it.
Let me take this call from Kelvin. Kelvin, are you there? Kelvin, are you there?
I'm here.
Thanks
Good
for calling.
morning.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, in the first place, somebody said South Africa gained their independence in the 90s. South Africa actually gained their independence in 1961.
50?
60.
1961.
61?
We're talking of apartheid.
The apartheid? Go back the government.
Yes, no, their independence, South Africa as a nation, their independence is 1961.
Go ahead.
But the apartheid is the 90s.
Yeah.
That's what she was referring to.
Yeah, it's in the 90s. And the problem in South Africa is when you grow a nation that the people are lazy, then they want to look for a way out. 97, 98, I was in South Africa. And then I got a job there. But the South Africans are never happy. They don't have the zeal to come out and hustle. In Nigeria, we hustle every way and any way.
Oh, in this song.
But South Africans don't do that. They want to be very picky. And as at then, most of them were not that educated to get certain kind of job. You want to sit in the office with air condition and everything, but you don't have the qualification. That is the major problem.
Thank you very much, Mr. for your thoughts on this. Okay, so since we're finding it difficult to find out what we Nigerians can do, what can the government do to make our economy conducive for our Nigerians to come back? Because you set up so much out there, you come to Nigeria to meet what?
That's what I'm going.
So what can the government do to attract our people back home?
Okay, I think we are running a system of government where we're not really dealing with the issues on ground. We have small-scale business people here suffering, striving to sustain their businesses. And now when these people, if we suggest to them that they should come home, when they come, They are still going to join the bandwagon of people who are trying and struggling to succeed because we don't have a conducive environment for it. So I think, aside from, because it may take South Africans time to be able to know that they can actually tap into the resources of Nigerians in South Africa by taxing them and making more money for their government. In the interim, what can our lawmakers do to make it possible that when these South Africans, for those of them that will agree to come home, they will have a soft landing here?
All right, let me take Chibundu. Chibundu, are you there?
Good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, problem with all these issues, xenophobic issues, is this. We allow ourselves get insulted. We let our feet drop on the floor. We don't have respect for our own selves. If we continue this way, the truth is, before you know it, Kenya is going to be doing the same thing. Every other African nation that is not supposed to come anywhere close to us is going to be the same exact thing. Now, in my own, unfortunately, this is national TV. But if I'm to give advice, young people in Nigeria should also start doing the same thing they're doing to us. They are killing our people. It's not fair. It's wrong. It is painful. We should not be accepting such things because we are insulting ourselves. And if we continue to do that, all the resources we have in this country will be a waste if we do not have any reputation.
We've been saying that for a while. So we have Nigerians being hired and working for these more South African companies. So our people are there to, in fact, they've cleverly brought Nigerian companies. So their cable TV that used to be a South African company is now a Nigerian homegrown company. So they've been clever about it. So who do you hold in this in our own territory?
At least we know with America, some of the things that they do when they have issues in other countries and they have their citizens there, they would advise them, do not go here, do not live here, do not do your businesses there. So
for the people that resign from that office.
So those are the steps we will take. So Nigeria would say to you, we would advise you not to do that. If you do that, you may not be protected. Secondly, let's not make this conversation about Nigeria not doing well. It's a different conversation on its own. This xenophobia, there's no justification for it. I will not sit down here and say it's because my country is not working, that's why you can kill and maim and destroy my property. I will not take that from you. It's wrong. So whether the country is working or not, we know that amongst ourselves, and we're trying to work that out, and we will do that. But while my people are living in your country, treat them like human beings, simple. And if you refuse to, and you will not say to me, after all, your country is bad, so what?
But you said something. The body language, our country's body language is not strong enough.
Moriah, I don't think we downplay the seriousness of this when we discuss issues like that. This is a foreign country. They should
imagine someone like Panika Ode was our minister of. There's a way there's a posture you take. You talk to the country, and then you know that you mean business. No, all this nice English are speaking, and you're like, enough is enough. What is that?
Well, hold on. They should do the most. The South African government should do what is important for them to do. You created the avenue for investment. Nigerians took it up. They didn't steal your properties to invest. They bought it. You sold it. What are we discussing here?
So now they don't want.
They should be careful what they promote in the international space in their countries. The impression that they create for their people.
I need to take a few Please take let's about 3 each, please.
All right. Adex Yusuf says, okay, which other way do you want their government to say they don't want us when these things are happening and their government is not doing anything to protect our people and call their people to order? Splendid says the Nigerian government should withdraw the licenses of South African companies. Local investors can buy them over and retain workforce. Bakri Abdul Fattah says it took America adding the retaliatory fee for Nigerians seeking American visa before Nigeria did the needful. Perhaps retaliation would yield better results in this situation.
Aziz Abdul says that's the problem with young retards as minister with no knowledge of history. Racism, religious phobia, and xenophobia are all manifest of growing world poverty. Victor says, I think South African anger is displaced. The minister that was earlier showed is still mentally disturbed with the relics of apartheid because the people controlling the major resources, land and otherwise, are the Europeans.
He also says that I think we should quit blaming Nigerian government for not taking certain steps. Reciprocating fire for fire is also inhuman. Marching and protesting to influence government take drastic decision.
All right. Unfortunately, that's all we can take on this segment. Our hearts go out to the families that have lost people, friends, loved ones, and even their properties in South Africa. We just hope this, what our Minister of Foreign Affairs said, that enough is enough, indeed, that enough will be enough. We'll go on a break now. When we come back, we'll discuss dementia. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So according to reports, around the world, every 3 seconds, someone develops dementia. By 2017, those living with dementia was close to 50 million. And by 2050, that exact number is expected to be close to 130 million. Joining us on the show is a consultant psychiatrist, Dr. Dapo Adegbaju. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, ladies.
You can call us on 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet to us at TVC. Can I please hashtag YourVTVC so we can read your tweets? All right, dementia. I'd like you to tell Nigerians what, because I know there was a movie that recently, was it Star, the Indian movie that Nigerians worked a few years that brought this issue of dementia to the fore. People are still thinking, okay, is my child, do they have this kind of disorder? Well, let's start with dementia. What exactly is dementia, especially in children?
Well, dementia is actually something you expect in an adult, not in children. If it happens in children, it's an anomaly.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a chronic, progressive deterioration in cerebral function, which is associated with a decline in thinking, behavior, activities of day-to-day life, and also memory. So you expect it in an adult who is, especially if anybody from the age of 65 and above, even though it's not something that we consider as part of normal aging. But in those age group, it's very common.
Okay. I guess I'm mixing it up with something else.
I think it was amnesia you were talking about.
Dyslexia.
Yeah, dyslexia. That one's found in children.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But go ahead.
Okay, so you said it's not part of, because what we've always heard is as you get older, you have these issues where you lose your memory, you don't remember how to function properly. But now you're saying it's not meant to be part of growing older. So it's an illness on its own.
It's a disorder.
A disorder on its own.
Yeah.
So what does someone do to prevent that?
How does it come about in the first place?
Well, there are several causes. It could be genetic. And why I say it is not really considered part of normal aging is that you still have people at 90 who are still very sound.
Yes.
The Prime Minister of, is it Malaysia or Indonesia, is around 90-something. And he's still ruling the country. So what you now say... Yeah, I know that we are looking at a very peculiar case, but you still have people who are 80 who are still sound. And you still have a person who is 65 and who is no more sound. So you can't say because you expect the person who is 80 to be more demented than the person who is 65, but it doesn't work out that way. That's why I say it's not actually with normal age.
Okay, I grew up around some aged people, and I've seen some people lose their memory, but then they are still able to have function, like carry out different activities and focus. Well, I have a close relative now who is not able to function, who has lost memory, can't remember anybody anymore. And what's the thin line between someone just having a loss of memory and someone who has lost almost everything? Now,
loss of memory comes in different ways. If you test anybody, they will tell you somebody is well-oriented in time, place, and person. Now, the normal way it goes is that it's person that is last that goes. Place is second. Time is the first kind of memory that you actually lose. So it depends on each stage the person is in. So if a person has lost the memory, memory for time, can still live, he still remembers people, you know. There are some things that are called procedural, things that you do on a daily, to-day basis. You know, there are things that you don't need to think before you do them.
Okay.
But when place goes, that means the person is progressing, moving down. Okay. And then when person goes, does not remember people around him, that person has totally lost it.
I would like you to talk about how this illness is not known to Nigerians and how we react to people who might have it. But before that, let's talk about, you know, certain illnesses that are normal, that are popular now, like hypertension, diabetes, and, you know, or, you know, enlarged prostate and all those kind of illness, or even malaria and all those, how those illnesses could contribute to worsening that disorder in a person.
Well, dementia has always been us. Don't think it is a new thing. It has always been with us. It's just that when people develop it, people tend to hide the people who suffer from dementia in their houses. They don't usually bring them forward for treatment. And you know that, just like you mentioned, hypertension, diabetes, all these are things that can also lead to dementia. Because dementia is actually, you're losing your neurons in the brain. And hypertension can actually speed up this process. Same for diabetes. That is why there's a particular form of dementia called multi-infarct dementia, because these are due to medical issues. They destroy the neurons. So anybody who has hypertension, diabetes, they have, those are risk factors for developing dementia in the future.
What's the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia?
Alzheimer's is a type of dementia. And it accounts for 50 to 70% of all dementias in the world. Most times it's genetic in nature. It's also different from, there are other types of dementia, like the frontotemporal dementia, the multi-infarct dementia that I earlier mentioned, the Lewy body dementia. So those are the other ones that...
I don't know what you just said. Could you break it down?
Well, like I said, Alzheimer's takes 50 to 70%. Right. There's the Lewy body. This is the kind of inclusion bodies.
So can I just interrupt you? So the Alzheimer's would be what exactly? If someone has Alzheimer's, what would that be? What kind of symptoms would that person...
It will present the same way the others too will. Loss of memory, inability to participate in the activities of daily living, not able to register new memory, forgetting things. I mean, common things that you should remember. I mean, missing your place in the home, behavioral, you know, there's a loss of behavioral reasonings. I mean, the things that normally I'm supposed to sit down gently and then you see me jumping on this table, scattering it, you know. There's a loss of inhibition also associated with it.
Breaking down the other types of dementia.
Yes.
Yeah, Lewy body means there's some inclusion bodies inside the brain that causes this form of dementia. Then there's frontotemporal. Frontotemporal is, we're talking of the frontal lobe of the brain, which is in our forehead here, and then the temporal, which is our... Now, the frontal lobe controls our executive thinking, how we're able to sit down, we're able to discuss things dispassionately, while the temporal is for the memory. Now, when there's a disconnect, you find people now having memory issues, not thinking straight, not able to do things in sequence, not able to follow logic. So those are frontotemporal. And then the fourth one is the one that has to do with...
It's okay.
Escape my memory now.
You've tried, sir. So when do we start to see this for people who genetically would have it? At what age exactly should we start to worry when they start to miss events up and, you know, miss facts?
Dementia can come at any age. So you need to know how this person is first before you know that this person is actually deviating from the norm. It can happen at any age, even though we say we look for it maybe when the person's like 65 years old, but it can happen at any age.
Is it treatable or it has to be managed?
Managed, not treatable.
It can be treated?
Wow.
No, unfortunately.
No, I wanted to follow up her question. You know, there are some people that they know that probably one of their parents had dementia growing up. And so there's this fear that you would likely catch it. So what steps can those people take to avoid catching it?
Or even to check themselves.
Even if a person is genetically programmed to have a particular disorder, environmental and social factors also play a role. You could have a gene, and if the right environment, if the environment is good, the social milieu around you is also correct, you might not express that gene. So it's a mixture of both genetic, social and environmental factors.
So imagine. So
are there anything?
So if our family moves, if your family has dementia, for example,
and then
now move to Canada,
South Africa.
No, South Africa is good. You now move to Canada, and the environment is very serene.
Different.
That
we may not have.
The gene will not be expressed, even though it might just become dormant. It
so
doesn't mean it cannot be passed from
because of the
socio-economic
issues.
I've heard some people say that if you train your brain, it would help. So I've seen some people take up Sudoku and all sorts of puzzles. Does that really work, or is it a myth?
Well, it has not been...
All these doctors, I'm sure it works.
No, Because
well, the thing is this, you can't actually, there are so many anecdotal studies that said it works, but scientifically speaking, if you are going to go by the way we do things,
no, I know someone
really
whose diagnosis for dementia was, and she's popular, she's passed now, may I so rest, Miss Aisha Limo. Her son was saying to me that her doctor said because she was a writer, she was constantly using her brain, researching. She was a British Muslim who converted and continued to study Islam. And because of that continuous study and writing of all the books that, you know, we read as children, he helped slow down the degeneration. So she lived up to 70 in her capacity, and, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, why dementia is not a license for you to die early also.
No, I mean
exercising your brain is very good. Like they said, it has been postulated. I'm picking my words carefully now. Postulated that it slows down this dementing process.
Yeah. Okay.
But we are going to go by real science.
Let me take this call from Victor. Victor's holding. Don't have credit and you're calling. Good morning, Victor. Are you there?
Hello, good morning. My name is Victor. I'm calling from Wishing.
Go ahead.
Good morning.
Okay, please, I would like to first thank Nima for reading my tweet on Twitter. I said I must call, but you guys have been holding me on since. So this time I must talk about the issue happening in South Africa. Now, I think the issue, the dementia that you guys are discussing at the moment should be discussed, should be changed to dementia in South Africa, because it's absurd what's happening in South Africa.
I agree with you, Jerry.
Mr. Victor, we are telling you, speaking some truth
today. I also want to make a comment on I think the first caller was saying that our leaders or those who are influential are not doing enough to recruit people on the issues happening in South Africa. I was on Twitter today, and I'm seeing tweets from Ben Murray Bruce, that freeze, they're all condemning the act in South Africa. But then again, I also think it's not still enough. I think we need to turn up in mass. In as much as I don't appreciate the fact that we should fight fire for fire, but I think we still need to do a lot and influence our government to do the right thing in the right perspective. So that's
right.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you very much,
Victor.
I think you guys are looking amazing.
Thank you, Victor. Yeah, this Nima. So is there like a treatment? And if there's no treatment, is there like a care? Is there a particular kind of care that you give to someone who's been diagnosed of dementia?
Yeah, like I said, it's management that is essential. There's no cure for dementia, because once the brain cells dies, it goes. There's no replacement.
Hey.
Yeah, that's why this brain is a special organ. So, and once the person is diagnosed with dementia, is to look at, okay, is it still in the mild form? Is it moderate? Is it severe? Because that's what will determine the kind of management you are going to put around the person. If it's mild, for example, and the person can still cope with activities of daily living, there's really nothing you can do. Just help them, at least, like you said, make them read things they enjoy doing, get people around them. But once it's turning to moderate to severe, you need to have people around them so that they just walk away, and then they get lost because they can't even remember where they are coming from.
So there are no medications for...
There are medications, but those medications are meant to slow down the process, not that it's going to cure
So let's
dementia.
talk about how our people react to dementia, people suffering dementia. Now, you said the first first thing they lose is memory of time, place, and person. So you find people would see them on the street, they'll say, bed land here. She person changed and she started to talk all sorts of things. No, it's true, and it happens. And
very correct.
A mob will gather and beat up the person and call the person all sorts of negative names, because the person is mumbling up what they're saying. They don't remember their place, they don't remember events, and they're mixing up things. And they say the person done the confess wish. Exactly how do we, what exactly, how do our people see this crime? And let's talk about this.
Let me take Ofuro. Ofuro, are you still there? Ofuro, thanks for calling. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Actually, I want to first of all talk about dementia.
Go ahead.
I have an elderly uncle who has issues with hearing. Is it part of the symptoms of dementia?
No, hearing loss is not part of the symptoms of dementia.
Okay.
His memory. It's things that have to do with memory. Okay, going to the question that Nima had asked concerning the fact that
people react.
It's a crossroad between culture and science. Now, if you look at we've been brought up, we watch so many films, because all the things we grew up with, all these things we grew up with have a way of sticking to us in our memories. So, you've been brought up that, okay, witches fly, they turn to birds, coupled with the movies we watch. We've been bombarded since we were young with all those things. So what will happen is that as you grow up, you tend to internalize all these things, and then you find someone who has lost her memory, does not know where she's coming from, who does not even understand what he or she is saying. And you know how people, the way out is a witch. Maybe it's coming from a meeting, fuel finished, she fell down.
So when Nigerians see people like that, what should they do?
I think the best thing to do, instead of just killing these people unnecessarily, is just to find a way of getting them to the hospital for care. At least. At times, they may have some lucid periods. They might just suddenly remember where they are coming from. And then they will just give you the right definition. So it's not just beating them. And then, we need to calm down a little bit. People are a little bit over the edge in this country.
But how much are we doing to sensitize people on the awareness for this disorder? Because 80% don't know most people don't know that this is a disorder that is common. Yeah,
we are doing our best. I think in 2013, the theme for the World Mental Health Day was on dementia. And it was made a popular topic. Talks are going on a daily basis. But we still want more participation. And then we also need, mental illness is not something people readily want to accept in our society. People always try to shy away from it. They don't want to be associated with it.
Okay,
but gradually, it's...
Sadiq, are you there?
Hello?
Sadiq, thanks for calling. Go ahead, please. Sadiq, you're online. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I want to make a comment on dementia.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm here. I'm pleased. I'm on the line. Yeah. So I want to make a comment on dementia. Yes, I'm with you, please.
Listen to me directly, not the TV.
Because the doctor said there is no cure for dementia. But I want to tell you that
there is?
Dementia, as I can understand, is a brain touch.
Brain touch.
Brain touch.
Okay.
I know.
Go on, sir.
Dementia is brain touch.
You're listening to the TV.
Yes.
You're listening to the TV. Listen to me, Mr. Sadiq.
And then there is a cure in Chinese way.
Chinese way.
There is a cure in Chinese way because the Chinese doesn't believe that there is any chance. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Point taken.
So we got the point too. What is ginseng, distabler, ginseng?
Look.
Which one works?
I can't help but giggle here.
Let's not discredit this guy Chinese. They have some solutions.
Yes. What is, you see, there are different mental disorders. And I think this is where people get it confused. You could hear him saying brain touch. Now, brain touch could mean several things. There are several mental illnesses. It's not only dementia here. And why I would not say, well, the Chinese have their own, why I would not doubt their efficacy, because I'm not a Chinese. Neither I'm not a traditional health person. There are so many claims that are being touted around, but at least I'll still stick myself with the orthodox one that I've gone for training for. Now, so dementia, as far as me I'm concerned, by my own training, can be managed, does not have a cure. But on his comments, there are different mental illnesses, depending on which one they are treating.
All right, let's take a few tweets. Any tweets on this?
Andrew in Street says,
Okay, Andrew says, to reduce dementia or making it non-existent, you exercise daily, read a lot, play video games to make brain alert, exercise brain by doing cognitive functions, eat brain food. Hold on now. Eat brain food like seafood or fish. Please, how true is that?
Well, exercising, now video games, I mentioned video games, for example, now. So do you play video games for 24 hours in a day, or else you are playing with another thing called an addiction? There's another thing called video game, internet addiction these days. So all these things, they are not like...
Trying to say you stimulate the brain.
Yeah, you stimulate the brain, yes, I agree.
Someone is asking if there's a category of people that are more prone to Apart from age, that is.
Apart from age, well, people who have who drink alcohol too much, who are diabetic, who are hypertensive, who smoke also. I mean, yeah, all these things are called risk factors.
If you put that on
So those are risk factors. Tinuke, that's your answer. Jean, she says, genes, brain injury, excessive alcohol consumption are some of the causes of dementia. Sadly, it is not well known in Nigeria and is referred to as confusion in people.
Let me take this call. Johnson, are you there?
Hey.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
I want to talk about the dementia issue now. I feel like if you don't use something, it's likely to decay. And I think our brain is part of it too.
I agree.
So I think that once we work on our brain very well, I think the brain will serve us very well. It changes with our body. So if we don't use our body, at least you do better regularly and so on, and eat good food and so on, to affect our body too. So I believe that we really need to work on our brain well.
Thank you, Johnson. You agree with that?
Well, I agree. Well, lifestyle modification, like I said, drinking, I mean, exercise, balanced diet, staying away from smoking.
That wouldn't stop it.
Yes, there's possibility it won't stop it also. You can have even the best social environment around you, the best economic factors around you. Yeah, it won't stop it. Yes, it's possible because all these
Canada
things...
is not going to solve the problem.
No. So unless you are telling me there's no people with dementia in Canada, which is not possible.
No, they've not been to Nigeria.
Yeah,
if you enter Nigeria and you go to Canada, trust me, your brain will...
But the tough situation in Nigeria also could also have toughened you up. You will not develop it.
That's okay. So, you see, half empty or half full.
I don't use to shake me.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take. That's going to break. When we come back, we'll take a few calls and tweets. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Yeah, we'll be able to.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have a few tweets. Yes,
Abdulaziz says, abnormal social movement of newborn, that means throwing and catching among Nigeria, can lead to brain injuries that predispose to some of these brain conditions. You know, when we have our Nigerian babies and our mothers pick up the baby from the
I want you to take it again because there are a lot of mothers that need to hear this.
Abnormal,
I say it slowly.
So that social movement, abnormal social movement of newborn, throwing and catching among Nigerian women can lead to brain injuries that can predispose these children to some of these brain conditions. Is that true, sir?
Very correct.
Whoa.
Yeah, very correct.
They shake all of us.
That is why you know when a baby is crying at times you find some people just shaking the baby. You don't need to shake it because you could actually be disrupting the brain movement inside the skull.
Jesus.
And it might not be immediate. The consequences might not be immediate, but over time, you know, find some people now.
Clarification, because you know, to pet a baby, you start to carry the baby and move around.
That's not shaking.
That's one. Number two, we believe that when a newborn, as in less than 2 days, 3 days old, the hot water, massage, and fling baby and catch baby, so that baby will not fear. The baby see fear, baby will catch it.
It's a myth.
I was totally wrong.
I'm sure I was flung too. I'm sure I was flung too.
We were flung. That's why Nigeria has problems.
Well, we should our
brain. They shook all our brain. That's why
that's why I don't fit in, because they didn't shake my brain.
Excuse me. You don't even know whether you were flung anyway.
Please don't shake baby.
Yeah.
Let's take this call. Moin, are you there? Ayo, go ahead, please. Ayo, are you there? Oh, sorry.
Let me add this.
So
there's an agbo called agbo ogiri for the baby not to fear. No, ile tutu ni wọ́n kì í ṣe. You put it inside bucket. You don't put it inside pots. You don't cook it. That agbo is so that the baby will not have fear. They will take the agbo with.
We are talking about dementia.
It's the same thing.
Like I said, well, scientifically speaking, it's a myth.
Okay, so there's a tweet here. It says, Adekoya Abolore says, can soliloquizing or depression lead to dementia?
Soliloquizing or depression leading to dementia? No, depression. Soliloquizing is talking to self, which is normal. It's when it goes beyond a certain limit and then start disrupting your day-to-day activities, or that takes majority of your time. That's
Because
when
I
it
talk
becomes-
to myself quite
That's
a
when
bit.
we all do. Especially you want to remember some things. Oh, where did I put this thing? We all do. But when it's now strong enough to disrupt your day-to-day activities or
Okay,
takes majority of your time, then it's a
I
disorder.
have a call. Titi, are you there? I like that name, Titi. Thanks for calling. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show, Titi.
Okay, thank you. I had a neighbor one time. She was having this. She was very young though. She had this just forgetting things, and so she died around last year. So she kept forgetting things, forgot her children, forgot how to do daily activities. Sounds to us that's dementia.
Yes.
Yeah, it's possible it is dementia because, like I said, it can happen at any age. Because there's always this belief that it's old people, but there are some things we classify as pre-senile dementia. It can happen. You don't know whether this person had a head injury in the past, have been involved in road traffic. Yeah, there's so many things that needs to be taken into consideration. And then not remembering things could also be a sign of depression. So we need to know which one.
Is which? Me, I have been in an accident and I had a brain fracture. I had a skull fracture, which shook my brain. I lost my memory for a period. It took a long time for them to get me back to speak. I went through counseling. Am I predisposed to dementia?
No, you're not.
Because I actually forget something. I actually forget quite a bit.
We don't remember everything we do or everything we read.
Can't say it as it is. Am I predisposed?
No. There is a chance.
Okay.
There's a chance.
So what do I do so I don't get?
There's practically nothing you can do. But like I said, you need to live right. I mean, do the right things, your lifestyle, take care of your health.
Compartmentalizing things, so putting things in a box. So something happens, the way I remember things is relating it to something that's
I have to hold you.
Okay.
Mike, I believe, from France. Go ahead. Thanks for calling. From
Hello, good morning.
Paris. Thanks for calling, Mike. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. I'm just a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Bonjour. Yeah, my contribution is about the situation in South Africa.
Go ahead, please.
Where our people are being molested daily. I just want to say that Nigerians, wherever we are very hardworking people. And of course, I'm proud of that. And I think that even though we say that the government is not doing enough, we are just like the Israelites in the world today. Because any place we are, anywhere, no matter the part of the country, no matter the part of the continent where you find a Nigerian, Nigerians are always people who work so hard, who ensure that they can be able to fend for themselves, and we are a proud nation. So, my advice is that the government should continue to engage with these countries. Our foreign policies should go a little bit further.
Thank you, Mike. I was going to ask Mike, let me ask you this question quickly before you run off. Is there like a community of Africans or Nigerians that come together to support each other? Because I remember in the US, Indians have this community, Chinese have this community where, sugar. Because we have this where they bring in people. Even my brother-in-law, he's a doctor, and he's gathering all the Nigerian doctors in his own region where they build a hospital. So that Nigerians coming abroad have somewhere to do their residency. So if Nigerians actually have business abroad where they come together and they're not doing it in isolation, come together so that you are doing Nigerian businesses in their country. Maybe that would help them. Let's find solutions, but we'll still discuss it another time. I have to let you wrap up. Any final conversation you want to have with us on this dementia issue?
Well, in conclusion, we need to do the right things. We need to take care of our health. We need to take our health seriously. We need to, if you're into smoking, drinking of alcohol, you need to slow down or totally abstain from it because this, like I said, these are risk factors. Check your blood pressure. I mean, do a checkup regularly so that you know what your blood pressure is, whether you're also diabetic or not, because these are things that can make people predisposed to having dementia in the future.
Thank you very much, Seth, for being on the show with us to tell us about dementia. Okay, so join our show tomorrow. Is our live audience show. It's Wednesday. Please come early so you can get a seat. See you then. Have a fabulous day. Bye-bye.